Okay, so my sacral authorities, you are so in the now. You are so right here, right now. So you and I, if you're a sacral authority, you have a sound, a literal motor in your tummy. The lower part of your tummy is your sacral, and you have the ability to know the answer right here, right now. You do know. The biggest lie that you tell yourself is that you don't know because you don't trust the simplicity of the sound. So, one of the best things I've ever done is understand number one, I do know. The best thing I've ever rewired in my brain to get on board is I do know. That's your new affirmation. I do know. Because the truth is, you do know. And the knowing can only be found through yes or no questions. And so that's really important that you let everyone in your life know that about you. Because if they're asking you to make a decision or they're using your sacral to know the answer right now, what's truth for you, then you should probably know that it answers only to yes or no. That's how it knows the answer. I'll give you an example. So when we were looking for houses to move into, there was tons we would walk into, and my partner would be so excited, like this is the one, and I'm like, it's just not. And so in that process, what's really amazing is that when we did walk into the home we loved, it was an immediate and that came before I even walked through the front door. And so the brain wants to say, but how do you know that, right? So I know that a lot of sacral authorities, they feel like they have to justify what they know and how they know it because the knowing is just right now. And so the three things you need to know, yes or no. It sounds like a sound. So is usually a no. Is usually a yes. And the mind wants to get in the way and say, like, this is stupid. It's too simple. How can we trust that sound? One of the best exercises you can personally do is actually, before you go to sleep at night, have your spouse or your kids, or you could do this with yourself. It doesn't require anyone outside of you. But in the beginning, I've noticed for me, it was really helpful to have someone outside of me ask these questions. And so it was like, do you want to wear red right now? Did you have a good day today? Do you like your business? Are you tired? Are you happy? Do you like music? And so, again, because you're asking yes or no questions, the sacral is responding. Most people that have a sacral, not all, but most are a generator. And the generator is going to be the person that responds to life. And here's what's beautiful, they're constantly responding to what they love based on the energy they have love for. So when people say, how do I respond? That's a whole nother conversation and topic in human design. Strategy is with authority. I talk about authority first because the authority, if it's not trusted, will never help you get to strategy. But if you trust your sacral is constantly responding to what it loves, and the mind has a hard time with letting go of the plan because the sacral can only answer to the now. And so if the universe and God brings you something really delicious and exciting, and your sacral's like, but you've already made this plan in your mind that you're going to do X, Y, and Z, and you didn't leave any space to discover what was coming your way, then you're not going to respond. So the biggest thing that gets in the way with a sacral authority is their need to plan, their need to create future reference points and what it's going to look like, etc., and then force it versus allowing moment by moment to happen and then walk through a sort of like corn maze and identify if they're going to turn left or right. But the mind wants to say, no, we must know how we're going to get through the corn maze. We must know the end result. We must know. There's so much conditioning that we've been taught in how to live in the future and how to live in the past, but never to actually live in the moment. And so your sacral could be lit up by opportunity after opportunity. And the only reason you're not saying or is because you had no idea it was the universe and God's job to bring it to you. And so the sacral authority needs to answer yes or no. The sacral authority needs to know that their answer is in the now. They do freaking know. And because it's in the now, the most important skill you could possibly learn going forward is how to be present. Because if you're not present, you're going to miss things that are happening. You won't even recognize it as a way to make decisions because we don't think about drinking a cup of coffee as a decision to make, or whether we should go live on Instagram as a decision to make. We're not contemplating that, right? And so we're not responding because we're thinking it has to be big. That's not true. Every authority responds to even the smallest minute details. Like an authority that is sacral is really here to follow its passions, its creations, its desires. I think all authorities are. The difference, though, between the sacral and the emotional is the emotional needs time because they don't know right now, and the sacral doesn't need time because they do know right now. And one is not better than the other. I have people all over the world say, I want your authority. And I'm saying, pause. I can see why you might think that, but I'm a sacral who wanted the emotional. And so there's not a comparison route. All there is awareness, because your authority, if you really identify it, where it's been helping you and guiding you, you would not actually love your life as much as you do without it. And so while it's easy to get in the comparison trap, don't do that. Don't freaking do that, because when you start to believe that your authority is less powerful, you start to trust it less. Because you trust it less, you don't roll with it. And the whole point of these trainings is to make it so that you never not trust your body ever again. It is literal gold, no matter what you have. So, sacral authorities, trust the knowing. And I'll catch you in the next video.